Alright guys, so after downloading the files that are in the description below, we can start importing them into the scene. So let's hit the canvas drop down and ensure everything's toggled off. Let's hit this insert icon, insert from computer, and let's grab this left image really quick. We're going to left click hold to select the YZ plane. Now we can select the right arrow here. We're going to type in these coordinates, 5.298 millimeters. And we're going to go down to this icon here so we can flip this around. Now let's select the up arrow and we're going to type in 4.222 and we're going to hit OK. Now we can rotate to the top view and start locating and importing that reference image. So let's go back to the insert icon here at the top. And we're going to go to insert from computer once again and locate that top reference image. Now we can left click and hold in this area to select the XZ plane, and let's select the top arrow and let's type in the coordinates -9.278 millimeters. And we'll select the right arrow and select or input 5.26 millimeters. Now let's rotate back around to the left view and let's select this gray area and create a sketch. Let's use our circle diameter circle tool, and right in the center, so if you see this dotted line here, that lets you know we're in the center. We can click once and then we can enter the values 2.738, and that should give you a perfect circle matching the reference image. So we can right click, and I want to select move, and I just want to move this over a bit more to the right so we can get a better reference matching here. Now let's select this profile and we can right click, press pull, and let's select this yellow area so we can reference the length of that and change it from join to new body. Hit OK. Now back in the top view, what I want to do is create a sketch, and I'll select the 2D background, and once this rotates, we're going to re-rotate this back, and let's grab our circle diameter circle tool above and let's just outline this shoulder area here. So from the center point, we want to click once and then drag out, and we're going to enter the values 2.968, and that should give us the perfect width of the shoulders, because you don't want to go too big or too small. So I think that's a good standpoint. So now let's select this profile and let's press pull this, and let's go to the left view, and I want to press pull this by let's say 3.091 millimeters. This looks fine, so we'll hit OK to finalize that. And I want to go to the bodies drop down, and I want to select this body so we can right click and move this, and let's select the up arrow here, and I want to move it by 2.78, and let's hit OK. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So back in the top view, what we'll do now is select this area here and create a sketch, and let's use I'll use the line tool for this. One thing I like about Fusion, you can use any there's so many ways to do the same thing. So from this center line here, I'll drop down once, I'll go to the right, and I'm basically just outlining this reference, and we're going to exclude this fillet here. Let's go straight up. Now we can right click and let's just press pull this area here, and we're going to go rotate around, and we're going to select the bottom so we can reference this point. And yeah, we can leave it on join for now. Let's hit OK. Now what I want to do is hit after going to fillet mode, and let's just round this off here. So let's select the bottom and the top corners here, and we'll just drag this inwards. And let's drag it back a bit. That's okay. I'll settle for this, and let's hit OK. Now back in the left view, let's select this gray area once again and create a sketch. And let's use our 2-point rectangle to kind of match this reference here. So from this top right corner, I'll drag it down to about here. Now I can press pull this through the body so I can create that cut. But I don't want to cut through everything, so I'll just change this to new body and hit OK. And then go to combine and combine the main body with the cutout piece and hit OK. Now back in the left view, let's select this circular body here and create a sketch on the surface. And let's grab our circle diameter circle tool, and from the center point, we'll just drag out to about here. And let's right click, hit OK, and we'll just press pull this. And I want to rotate to the back view so I can get a better look at this. And we want to just pull this to about here, to about the center point. So around that center line. Let's change it from join to new body, and let's hit OK to finalize this. So now I'm going to select this surface and create a sketch. And from the top view, we can use a circle diameter circle from the center point to this line here. And let's right click and hit OK. And let's select this profile and let's press pull it to the bottom of this area. Let's change it from cut to new body. And let's go to combine. And I want to combine all these bodies together. So I'll try to select what I can from this view. And if I can't select everything from here, I'll just rotate around to where I can see everything to select. And let's join these and hit OK. Now let's start getting some of this detail on the top. So let's create a sketch. Use our circle diameter circle tool again, and from the center point, let's just start outlining some of this detail from the reference. And we can press pull this, and we'll just pull it down to about here. Nothing too much, just a nice inset. Now we can select this surface and create another sketch. Use our same tools, and we'll just outline this yellow area. And we're just giving it a little bit of detail. So we're going to press pull this upwards. And I don't want to extend past the actual level, so we'll bring it down a little lower. And let's hit F to go into fillet mode. I want to round this off. Now let's select this inner area and create a sketch. And we use the circle diameter tool one last time to kind of outline this area. So we can then go to create pipe. And we're going to create a nice little cutout. So we'll just make this a bit smaller. So around here, leave it on cut and hit OK. Now, let's start getting some more of this detail. And I noticed that this area is kind of too sharp, and I don't want that. So I'll go back on the timeline to where I created that fillet. And I'll right click and go to edit feature. And I'll just pull this back some so it's not so sharp. Let's hit OK. Now back in the left view, let's toggle back on this canvas. And let's go to create sketch and select this 2D background. Now what I want to do is start getting some of this detail. So I'll grab that 2-point rectangle tool here. And from the center point or the center line, I want to kind of click here and go all the way to the end of this arm area. Now I'll grab the 2-point rectangle again and start sectioning off these areas. And I'll grab one more and do it here. And I could use the trim tool, but I'll save more time by just selecting these. So I'll finish sketch. Go to revolve, and I'll just select these profiles here, and I'm shift selecting these if you guys can't tell, and the rotating line will be that center line, and change it to new body. And let's finalize this by hitting OK. And now it's a good time to go down to the body and the layers, and we can right click and move this because we did that sketch on the 2D background. Now we have to rotate it to match the reference. So in the top view, let's just select this arrow and just drag it to match the reference. Once satisfied, we're just going to hit OK. Back in the left view, let's go to create pipe. I'm going to select this edge here. And that's a pretty good size, so we're going to change it from cut to new body and hit OK. And let's just move this back to match the cut on the reference. And we're going to go back to the layers and we're going to duplicate this, Control C, Control V. And let's just slide this to match this side of the reference. Now we can go to combine, and let's just combine the main body with the two rings and change it from join to cut. Now let's hit OK. Now from the top view, we're going to create a sketch on the 2D background, and we're going to use the circle diameter circle tool here, and we're going to match this circular shape here on the reference. And once satisfied, we're going to select the profile by left clicking and holding. Now we're going to press pull this, and we're just going to press pull this all the way up, going through the body, and leave it on cut and hit OK. Now back in the top view, we're going to create another sketch on this 2D background. Now let's go up to the top and select the 2-point rectangle, and we're going to go from this upper right hand corner to the bottom left corner, and that should give us a nice little rectangle matching the reference. Now we can right click, hit OK, and we're going to just select this profile and press pull it. So let's return to the left view so we can kind of see this a bit better. And I just want to pull this up to somewhere around here, and let's go to layers and let's just move this up. And we want to match either the bottom or the top with the reference. So we're going to do the bottom because it's a little bit closer. Now we can press pull this top surface and go back and reference this. That looks good. Now let's hit OK, and we can hit F to go into fillet mode, and we'll just select this top corner and the bottom, and let's reference this so we can round it off together or enter a value, and that looks fine here. So let's go to the top view and let's select this surface and create a sketch. And let's use our 2-point rectangle, and from this upper right corner to the bottom left area here, we're going to select the profile so we can press pull this through this body so we can have a nice little cutout shape. And I want to fill in some of this area here underneath this hole where I made this hole through the body. So I'm going to select this surface and create a sketch. Now I'm going to use the offset tool here, and I'm going to select this edge here, and I'm going to drag and just offset this by a little bit so we can press pull this through the body so we can kind of fill in the inside of the hole. Let's change it to join. Now back in the left view, let's select this surface and create a sketch. Let's grab our circle diameter circle, and from this center area here, we're just going to outline a giant circle. And we're going to repeat that same thing here for the bottom area. So we're going to draw a mini circle. And now I want to use our line tool, and specifically the line tool for this area, because we need it to be nice and flat. So once we press pull this, now we can use the arc, the 3-point arc, and from this point to this point here, and let's just curve this a bit. That looks great. Now right click, hit OK, and let's just finish sketch. Let's select all 4 of these profiles so we can press pull them. And from the top view, we have this nice reference that we can reference. Change it to new body and hit OK. Now back in the left view, let's select this surface and create a sketch. And I'm going to use that circle tool here to kind of get the outline of this detail. And let's finish sketch. And I want to go to create pipe and select that edge we just created. Ensure it's on cut and hit OK. Now I want to select this surface here on top and create a sketch. And let's use the 2-point rectangle from the center line here to the right corner. And I'm just going to press pull this surface. And you guys are going to see what this is going to be used for here in a sec. So let's change that to new body. And let's go over to the layers and move this up just off of that surface. Now what I want to do is go to turn off this canvas, and let's hit F to go into fillet mode. I want to select all of these edges so I can just round these off because this looks a bit too sharp. That looks okay. Let's hit OK. Now I want to go to create mirror. And for the body, I want to select this body here. And for the mirror line, I want to select the surface of that body we created that's in the air right now, floating. And that's all that's used for right now. It's just going to be a reference so we can basically create mirrors from that point. Now I'm just using the circle tool here to draw a circle on the inside of here so I can select the opposite side to basically bring those together. Now I'm going to select this surface, and this is why I used the line tool when we were doing the sketch, so I can create a sketch off of this surface. Now what I want to do is create a nice little rectangle from this point to the opposite end at the bottom. Now once that's closed, I'm going to just press pull this, and we don't have a point at the bottom, so we're just going to extend beyond the actual body. Let's change that to new body, hit OK. Let's go to modify split body, select the body we just created, and for the splitting tool will be this underneath curvature area. Now we can go to the layers to the left and we can just remove this. Now let's go to combine, and let's combine all 3 of these together. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for you guys. So let's press pull this bottom area. So we'll go back to the top so we can kind of reference how far back we should pull it or forward. So that looks good right here. Let's hit OK. Now let's start selecting this surface and create a sketch. I'm going to use the circle tool here. And from this center point in the middle, just draw a miniature circle inside. So we can then use a line tool to sketch from somewhere around here. Then I'm going to go to the left view, turn on our canvas, and just drag the line down to the bottom. I know it's a bit confusing, but you guys will understand once you actually get here. Let's just pull this up. Cool, now we have a profile we can press pull. And we're going to press pull this. Let's make sure we grab these areas as well. And I want to press pull this to this area on the opposite side. Change that from join to new body, hit OK. Now let's go back to the left view and select this surface and create a sketch. Let's turn back on our canvas, and let's use our line tool. We're just going to draw a line from this area to this area. Now we can use this profile to press pull. And we're going to use the end of this area to reference the line. Change that to join, hit OK. Now let's go to modify chamfer, grab this bottom edge, and let's reference this in the left view. Well, that's good. Let's hit OK. And now we're almost done, guys. Let's just go select this surface and create a sketch. Now we're going to turn off our canvas because we don't have a reference from this angle. So let's use our line tool, and from the center line here, we're going to draw once, click once, bring it out a bit to the left, click again, and we're going to angle this. Ensure it's not straight, guys. Angle this slightly beyond the bodies. And once you're satisfied, click it, and let's go to the center line, and we're just going to connect it from the bottom center to the top center point. Now we have two profiles. We can press pull to cut through these bodies. So let's just drag them all the way through. Ensure it's on cut, hit OK. Now I'm going to split the body once again. So I'm going to go to modify split body, and I'm going to split this body here. And the splitting line, I'm going to use that surface that we created for that body up top. And now we can just select this over here in the layer, so we can right click and then go to remove. Let's remove this one as well. Now we can go to create mirror over here, select our bodies, and for the mirror line, we're just going to use this surface. Now it's nice and symmetrical, guys. Now is a good point to start combining these. So we'll go to combine, select these two bodies, ensure it's on join, and hit OK. Now from this little from this edge, we'll create a sketch from this surface. Use our circle diameter circle, create a nice little circle from the center point, and let's just press pull this profile to the opposite side. Ensure it's on join, and let's hit OK. And depending on what you're doing, let's combine these pieces all together again. But depending on what you're doing, it might not be ideal to combine all the pieces, but this isn't going to be used for 3D printing or anything, so this is definitely fine. And I also notice that these points aren't touching, so I'm going to left click and hold to select the back face, and I'm going to press pull this so I can pull it up to intersect with this body. Now we can combine once again all these pieces. Now I'm going to toggle off this shoulder area, and I'm going to right click on this body so we can go to move. I'm going to select the pivot point, and I'm going to choose the center, and don't forget to unlock it again. And let's just rotate to give it some style so it's not stiff. And let's hit OK, and we can toggle that shoulder back on. And let's go back to the layers, and let's delete this body we have up there floating. And now we can go to create mirror, and let's select all of these parts that make up the arm, and let's mirror this to the opposite side by left clicking, holding to select the YZ plane.